I said I'd give you an update on the crocuses in that person's garden. They're all open now. Well, at least they're open in the sunshine. And they're fabulous. Still a few snowdrops around, but the crocuses are looking beautiful. See, I've got loads here in one of my lawns. Loads and loads and loads, but they only open when the sun's on them. So they won't open until later. Oh, and while I'm here, notice that I left all the leaves lying in my garden that fell off my big acer during the winter, because those leaves provide a home for lots of little overwintering insects, and of course that's winter food as well. And looking out the window and seeing how many birds are in there amongst the leaf litter, look how much food they're getting from that. Why would you clean that up? Why would you hoover it up and stick it in bags and take it to the dump? It's mad. And at the end of the day, unless you want your lawn to be absolutely level and flat with lovely stripes on it and that, it does no harm to leave the leaves down. They mulch down and they become nutrients for the soil anyway. So there you go. Anyway, welcome to Colganology. This rather grand structure is the Wellington Arch, which is, as you can imagine, dedicated to the Duke of Wellington, and it celebrates his victories over Napoleon. There's also, you know, Nelson gets a bit of a mention as well, although not far from here is the thing that we think of as the Marble Arch, which is the entrance to Hyde Park, and that's got a bunch of friezes on there that feature Wellington, Nelson, and all our other extraordinary, heroic and victorious military people. It's rather grand though, isn't it? Well, this is the Royal Artillery Monument. And there's a lot of monuments here actually. There's another one down there. There's one over there to the Duke of Wellington, that big thing there. Another monument here. I mean, these are quite clearly crosses. But what do they actually symbolise? Let's have a look. Commemorates the enduring bonds between New Zealand and the United Kingdom. It's an interesting design anyway. Oh, this is in Maori. There's another one over here with a very striking classical figure. And this is the Machine Gun Corps. Looking up in this direction, you can probably just make out that gigantic bronze, well, it's covered in verdigris now, horse's head. Oh look, Red London Bus. You'll see a few of those. And this rather grand building, about to be covered up by a bus, I'll move down a bit, is Apsley House, which used to have the extraordinary address of number 1 London. And this was the home of the Duke of Wellington. So, why am I in London, you might be asking, at this rather grand site? Well, I'm here to meet two people who have an independent television production company who are interested in doing a TV series about the rise of modern paganism, neo-paganism, and why there's suddenly this huge growth of interest in folklore and folk culture. And my name came up in their Google searches as someone who knows a bit about it. So I'm here to meet them today to see if I can help them at all with putting together a pilot show that they can pitch to the TV companies. Exciting, eh? I'm told that they ran out of money about halfway through building this thing, so it's not quite as big as it should have been. And bits of it were actually used in the construction of Buckingham Palace and in some of our museums. Still pretty impressive though. And once you get under the arch, you're now in Hyde Park. Another rather grand statue there. Listen, you oaf, stop saying grand and extraordinary quite so much. There are other adjectives and adverbs available, you know. and some rather rich tower blocks. Imagine living at the top of one of those. I don't want to think about what the rent is. Anyway, this is Hyde Park, which is all very nice. Nice place to walk during the daytime. Well, especially on a day like this when it's sunny.
Hey guys.
So why are you two people interviewing me? What's this all about?
Because you're an interesting guy, mate, that's why.
Interesting guy. You've got obviously many a story to tell.
Many stories to tell, lots of knowledge to share.
Of knowledge.
It's because I'm free, isn't it? That's what it is. Come on, let's face it, it's because I'm free. This noise is incredible. This is green parakeets. They're all over London now. But here in Hyde Park, I've seen a few flocks of them already, but of course they've shut up when they've got the camera on them. But yeah, amazing. How they've survived so well here, I have no idea.
It is a mystery, isn't it?
It is.
There's so many of them as well. Anywhere you go in London, any park, any green space, they're just there.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, he just flew right overhead.
Just flown right overhead, yeah.
Beautiful.
What a noise. Fabulous. They just love these plane trees, don't they? And these plane trees are extraordinary themselves. They've got this like camouflage bark.
Yeah.
Because that's why they do so well in London. They soak up all the pollution, then shed the bark, and chuck all the pollution onto the ground.
Yeah.
I see a big lump of rock. I've got to go and have a look. And this is actually Royal Norwegian Navy, this one, and the merchant fleet. That's a big old lump of rock. Can you hear those parakeets? Good Lord. All in all, that was a very good meeting yesterday. They're only young lads, but don't let them put you off. They're very well informed. They're fascinated by various aspects of British culture. Before they met me, they were off down on the River Thames, mudlarking with some people actually finding archaeological remains down by the river. Yeah, good lads, and they want to do this documentary all about the rise of modern neo-paganism. Get it out there, maybe get a series out of it. Good luck to them, I say, and I've done everything I can to help them. But now it's back to normal today, back out on the fields, back to work. My leg's a lot better. Still a bit sore and the bruises have really come out now, but the infection is dying down, which is good. Next thing I suppose, waiting for mother to get a little bit better. She's in hospital still, she's got all the right care and they're doing all they can for her, so it's a waiting game. It's a damp and drippy dog walk today, but they're still enjoying it. And why wouldn't they? It's not too cold. There's lots to smell. In the case of Freya the Dachshund, lots to eat and roll in. She's a nightmare. Any smell she rolls in it. I think I'm going to have to bring the bucket of shame out of the garage. I used to have a dog called Ted, who was a long-haired Yorkshire Terrier, and he would roll in everything. So we had the bucket of shame for him, so that we could, you know, clean him off after he rolled in fox poo or badger poo or whatever it happens to be. But never had that problem with Harris. He's got no interest in rolling in anything. But this one here, Freya, nightmare. And Chico, he doesn't mind getting a smell on him. So I've got to watch him closely. Oh look, here come the daffodils. They're all starting to pop up everywhere now. Not a lot to report really. I'm relearning the skill of walking three dogs when they've all got leads on. It's a bit like Ghostbusters. Don't cross the streams, because once they get tangled, it's a nightmare. But yeah, it's all coming back to me. I used to have three dogs, and I had to do this before. I will do it again. I'm back in West Wycombe today with these glorious views over the valley and the long straight road back towards High Wycombe. And you might recognise the silhouette of that chap in front of me. Hello, Mark. What are we up to today?
Tea with the Dashwoods.
Tea with the Dashwoods?
Yeah.
Yes. Now, if you don't know, because you haven't watched one of the previous videos about West Wycombe, the Dashwood family have actually been in residence at West Wycombe Park, big country house, Dashwood house, etc., for centuries. And it was an ancestral Dashwood, Francis Dashwood, who created the original Hellfire Club and had a whole set of caves dug into the chalk hills on his estate. We actually did one of our photographs in the caves. This is my life. And now they're keen to talk to us about organising, or helping to organise at least, some kind of festival to celebrate the summer solstice. So we're here today to talk to them about that. I mean, in front of us here, where Mark's walking, all of that green space you can see over here, all of this is all part of the Dashwood estate. Everything basically to the right of that road, and a few of the fields on the left as well. It's got a very scenic park with a big lake, lots of follies and buildings, which is all part of the Hellfire Club part of it, and the house itself. And it's been used in loads and loads and loads of films. And another big feature of the Dashwood estate is where the Dashwoods spend the afterlife, because this is the Dashwood Mausoleum. And inside there's lots of urns containing all the ancestral Dashwoods. It's quite a structure. Here's the mausoleum itself, with all the Dashwoods in their various little cubby holes. Amazing, isn't it? Now down there you can just about make out Dashwood House at the centre of the West Wycombe estate. Very distinctive sort of mustardy yellow colour. Now the front of it looks fairly much like a classical country house, but the back has got lots and lots of pillars, all looks very Italian, which was the effect that Francis Dashwood wanted to get. He'd been to Italy, seen these Italian pleasure palaces and wanted to copy them, and that's exactly what he did. And this is the Dashwood family church. This is St Lawrence's, which is on top of the hill behind the mausoleum. And as you can probably see, has got an extraordinary golden ball at the top, which does have windows like portholes. And again, Dashwood and his lady friends would actually entertain up there, so to speak. Now coming back down to the graveyard and up into the churchyard of St Lawrence's. Yeah, and a helicopter flying over. I can't escape them even here. All these beautiful snowdrops on the graves. Marvellous. Well, there we go. That's the entrance to West Wycombe House. We're going to go in there. It's close to the public at the moment, at the time of year. But we're going in. We're going in. Right, let's cross the road. Yeah. Anything coming that way? No, all right. Right. Here we go. Probably have to get out. Hello, Stephen Mark. So that's over 6,000 mark. Soraya. And she's been in 5 years. So that's it's quite a place, isn't it? Up, coming up. Quite a bump there. Yeah. So this is the side of the house, and there's the view down to the lake and the Temple of Venus out on the lake. Isn't it glorious? Not the sort of places I normally go for a meeting, I have to say. Not the sort of office I normally go to. But here we go. Talk to you afterwards. But that was a good meeting, wasn't it, Mark? Super. Not only are we helping to organise a Summer Solstice event, looks like we're doing Halloween as well.
Yeah. Eat but no biscuits.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's a lovely day out here today. Sun's just gone behind a cloud, but it's still lovely. And the poochies are enjoying themselves as usual. No idea where Harris is. Oh, there he is. He's always behind somewhere. But yes, it's rather nice. So let's see what we can see today. Always a pleasure to see the sheep. And, my God, they've trudged up this end of the field quite a lot, haven't they? What a mess. Look at it. But, yeah, still nice to see the sheep. And all down there, look, crowded around the lonely tree. Lovely. I think the two dogs are quite enjoying all the new smells because, I mean, where they live in Cornwall, there's a lot of beach, there's a lot of moorland, but they don't get a lot of woodland. And I think they're actually quite enjoying that. Oh, that's the first lords and ladies, arum lilies I've seen coming up. We'll get those big spires come up shortly. Yes, lords and ladies, I will reiterate how dangerous they are once the plants come up properly, because they can be confused with some edibles. And that, if I'm very much mistaken, is a bluebell. That's way too early for bluebells. I've mentioned these a couple of times. These are hazels, and can you see they're all very equally spaced all along here. These were originally planted by the farm so that they could get these lovely straight poles for use in making things like hurdles, gates and fences and that sort of thing. What happens is you let the plant grow and then you cut it right back down to its stump, which they call a stool, and then you let the poles all come up straight like they are here. Then you harvest them, cut it back down again, and they come back year on year. And over time you create a hedgerow, and it's called coppicing. And you can see how regularly spaced they are along here. It's called coppicing. Probably dates from sort of the late 1800s, early 1900s. People used to do this a lot. And that's because it's free materials. Why would you go out and buy fences when you can make your own with what's growing on your land? There used to be a TV show on during the 1970s and 80s, which my dad and I would religiously watch every weekend. It was called Out of Town. And then later on it was called Jack's Country, but it featured an old countryman, a trained vet and a farmer called Jack Hargreaves, who would actually tell you about things going on in the countryside. And there's a wonderful episode where he talks all about coppicing and talks all about how they were made into hurdles, and actually shows a hurdle maker doing the job. It's a lovely show. Now, a guy who worked on the show called Dave Knowles has access to all his old videos and he posts them on YouTube. I'll put the link in the notes below. But well worth a watch. If you're interested in country matters and how people used to live, fantastic thing to go and visit. I have to say, today feels like a proper spring day, and it fills my heart with joy. There are definitely bluebell shoots coming up all over here. We haven't even had the daffodils yet. Everything is out of whack. But more lords and ladies there coming up. And don't know whether you can quite hear it in the background. Can you hear that? I'll put the volume up. There are skylarks hovering over the field. Another sure sign of spring. Typical Daxon, following all the trails, all these foxtrots and deer trails, and every single hole in the hedge, every single place she can explore, she's in there. I have to keep her on a very tight lead or I'd lose her very quickly. She wants to explore everywhere. Him, he doesn't care. Harris just wants to sniff things and pee on them. Lots more daffodils coming up. It's going to be a race between them and the bluebells this year, I think. Ridiculous. It's so mild though, it's so mild. Sod off! And I think that's it for this week. Toodle pip. If you've enjoyed this video, then please consider subscribing. Or click on some of these links to look at some of the other videos on the channel. Or press the like button. Or leave a comment. It would be lovely to hear from you. Any combination of those four things would be wonderful. Thank you very much.